I think the creative landscape is changing at such a rapid pace right now. So say if you're a new creative designer or someone pivoting into this space, it can seem quite overwhelming. When you're starting out or making a career transition, it's likely that your portfolio either feels empty or the work you do have isn't presented in the best way. Having spent the last 20 years growing as a creative professional, I've worn many hats: designer, art director, photographer, and videographer. I've worked as a creative freelancer and as a full-time creative within agencies across advertising. I've been able to build and rebuild my portfolio of work many times, but I haven't always had the opportunity to create the kind of work that I wanted sort of reflected in my portfolio. To add to this, being quite introverted, I've always struggled when it comes to the presentation of work, either to existing clients or potential new ones. Now that I'm currently freelancing, I want to focus on building a strong portfolio of work and grow a meaningful creative design and production business. So this poses two questions for me that I also believe will sort of benefit inexperienced or new creatives. One, how can you quickly build a strong portfolio of work and learn valuable skills along the way? And two, how can you package it all in a format you can sort of confidently present to a prospective client? To answer question one, I think you should start by creating your own case study projects. And for question two, present it in a format that aligns to your creative style and your brand, so you can sort of start talking confidently about it to clients. I truly believe that creating your own sort of case study projects gives you the opportunity to explore ideas and learn without sort of having eyes on you. As a creative challenge, you set the brief, solve the problem, and showcase the results. You're not waiting for real clients to give you permission to do the work. You take the initiative to demonstrate your thinking, creativity, and presentation skills. And the best part is you can tailor these projects to the kind of work you actually want to get hired for. I wanted to share a recent branding case study project. What I love about this approach is that it serves multiple purposes, providing me with a new portfolio piece that's also implemented within a presentation that I can easily talk to with clients. The goal here is to help me walk through the entire creative thought process, so as a client they understand the what, the when, and the why. The first half of this presentation is to make sure that I know who the client is, what they believe in, and how they want people to see them. It's quite copy heavy, but I will aim to keep my explanations short. Imagine you want to create a new brand of chocolate amongst the sea of chocolate brands out there. Well, the branding is everything that makes your chocolate unique. Its name, the colors of the packaging, the logo, and even how you might communicate to customers. The strategy is the plan to make sure lots of people buy and love your chocolate. You decide what flavors to sell, where to sell them, and how to tell people they're the best chocolate in the world. For this exercise, before diving into creating the logo and the visual branding of this case study, and this sort of applies to a lot of businesses to be fair, you need to build a relationship with the client and have an understanding of their services. So it's a discovery phase, if you will. I would always start by asking the questions: what does the business do? Who are their customers? And what makes them different from their competitors? I write it all down, and this forms the foundation for my strategy and deep dive. Because this is a made-up brand, I was also acting as the client. I imagined a fictional client called Enfield Garden Architects, or EGA for short. The core focus of the business is creating contemporary, bespoke garden designs for homeowners that are affordable, sustainable, and beautiful. I know garden spaces might not excite a lot of creatives, but I truly believe that if you can learn to create inspired, compelling work for brands that aren't automatically seen as exciting, you will sort of build real foundations for great branding. And those skills, they'll serve you even better if you get the chance to work with big brands in the future. Every business needs brand goals to measure success. And brand goals are like a list of things a business wants to be really good at so people will notice and like them. Now for EGA, those key goals are to develop a recognizable identity. If people don't remember you, they won't hire you. Grow their target audience. Be discoverable. Continually reach out to homeowners who already care about personal and sustainable outdoor spaces. Nurture trust and credibility. Homeowners sort of buy from brands they trust. Engagement and loyalty. It's easier and cheaper to keep a customer than it is finding new ones. And lastly, support business growth. Success isn't just about getting bigger, it's actually about getting better while you grow. My next step was to look at the brand's positioning statement. Now, this can be summarized through its mission and vision. For EGA, these are just a couple of sentences that says what it does, who it's for, and why it's special. The mission for EGA is its promise to its customers, creating sustainable and outdoor affordable spaces. And its vision is to be the go-to garden architect business for modern homeowners. When you're building a brand, your tone or voice isn't just words, it's a feeling your audience gets every time they interact with you, whether on the website, an email, or even a casual conversation. I wanted to reinforce emotionally what the tone needs to feel like. So soft, natural, and caring. I created this sort of petal-like word cloud of positive brand traits. There's no distracting photography. It sort of stays focused on the feelings, which is appropriate when talking about sort of voice and personality. Values aren't just words on the page. They are promises the brand has to live by every day. And these 5 pillars sort of reflects what EJ values and how it operates. Here, I talk about EJ's commitment to creativity, which means every garden isn't just nice to look at. It's a true reflection of the homeowner's story and lifestyle. Collaboration means the client's voice matters. It's about building trust, excitement, and ensures every project feels personal. Sustainability. EGA designs gardens that thrive naturally, use fewer resources, and sort of support local ecosystems. Commitment to affordability means they're opening the door for more families and individuals to really sort of benefit and enjoy beautifully considered outdoor spaces. And lastly, excellence. For EJ, every garden should feel crafted, cared for, and long lasting, something homeowners can be proud of for years to come. Target audience is a way of saying, who are we helping or talking to? When you're designing for a client, you're not designing for yourself. You're actually designing for the real people the client serves or their brand serves. In my case, these are homeowners, and my objectives as a creative is to step into their shoes, to understand them, and through that be able to create a connection that aligns with what they really value. I looked and researched a few touch points. Demographics, I zeroed in on homeowners between the ages of 30 to 50, their lifestyle. These are busy people who have busy lives, value their time, and want their garden to feel like an extension of their home indoors. Their interests, these homeowners care about beautifully designed outdoor living and sustainable spaces. And then their values. Their values are needs, what really sort of drive decisions. So they're choosing brands that reflect their beliefs, good design, and smart spending. Personas turn general audiences into real people, people with needs and problems your creativity and work can actually solve. Here I created the persona profile for a homeowner couple. Both are hard-working professionals who have little to no garden experience, but consider outdoor space a must. I look at their personalities, lifestyle habits, and motivations as a way to sort of problem solve why EGA would be a good fit. When you're helping a brand find their unique selling point, what you're really asking is, what do they do differently that sort of truly matters to the people they want to serve? That's what makes a brand unforgettable. Not just being different, but being different in a way people care about. These unique selling points help differentiate EGA from its competitors. They ought to provide clarity and separation. I focused on affordability, easy maintenance, eco-friendly practices, collaboration, memorability, and competitiveness. And when you're starting any kind of brand work for a business, it helps to get a sense of who else is out there. So I did a little bit of research into a few different competitors, from high-end landscape designers to sort of retail chain services that do it all. It wasn't about comparison, but more about learning what makes each of them tick. That way I can figure out where EGA sort of fits in, and more importantly, how it can really stand out by doing things in its own way. With all that said, now we get into the visuals. Now, going forward, the styling of the content will now feel a little bit more aligned with the client's brand. This is the Enfield Garden Architects Lockup, where the symbol and the name come together as one clear identity. The layout is traditional but feels sort of modern with this typeface, I feel. It's designed to work across sort of print, signage, and digital. Pretty much wherever the brand shows up, it feels calm, confident in itself, and sort of rooted and balanced. And here is the logo mark on its own. I went through a whole series of sketches and ideas before sort of landing on this logo mark. I knew straight away that I wanted to incorporate a few elements that sort of combined aspects of the EGA's sort of value, and see if I could sort of evolve it into an identity. Ultimately, it was designed to tell a story. The roots represent growth and EGA's deep connection to nature. The spade, which also doubles as a tree stem, symbolizes strength and transformation. And the house is a reflection on gardens, being an extension of our outdoor living spaces. Altogether, the mark reflects the full spirit of the brand, rooted in nature and made for modern life. I limited the color palette to 4. It was all about balance with a splash of uniqueness. The greens sort of ground the brand in nature, which is at its core. The light sand keeps this sort of serenity and calmness overall. And the orange brings this amazing contrast, a hit of personality that makes the brand sort of feel fresh and confident. Now, typography can really make or break a design. It's an area that can often feel like Marmite. Either you love it or you hate it. It is definitely something that should not be overlooked, as it plays a big part in a brand's look and feel. Clash Display gave EGA the perfect balance with its bold and modern feel, but with a hint of character and flair. It feels creative without trying too hard, and I wanted it to reflect that same confidence and individuality that's built into the brand's sort of design thinking. If Clash Display is the bold voice of the brand, then Honest is the calm, sort of clear follow-up. It's what brings the balance. I chose it because it's sort of super legible and gives the brand overall a clean, modern look. Now, here's where I've sort of stumbled a little. The photography really needs to feel authentic and lived in, but because EJ is a made up client and brand, finding the right imagery has been one of the more challenging parts of this case study. And I couldn't find the right royalty-free images that sort of truly reflected the brand, So I will definitely be sort of exploring this section a little bit further. Now, moving into application visuals, this short section sort of covers examples of the brand across real-world touchpoint. I applied the logo to a style of uniform that EJ staff would likely wear, just a generic sort of polo shirt. The green base is rich and earthy and timeless, and I felt it was a perfect reflection of the brand's sort of being rooted in nature and sustainability. I added a lighter hue to really kind of add a nice contrast and give that sense of confidence. I took a creative approach to app icons and how they can sort of change colorways throughout the seasons or on promotional deals. I thought it was an interesting and fun way to keep audiences interacting with the app. When it came to packaging, I wanted something that felt the opposite of the sort of the greens and the calm tones. I immediately sort of exploited the bold and vibrant orange as a signature color. If you note, in a lot of gardening centers, there are brands that use very similar colors, and I wanted to make sure that the packaging was able to make a statement. Now, I kept the typography graphically simple and moved away from the more sort of commonly floral and earthy imagery sort of associated with gardening. The work vehicle features a bold, contemporary vinyl wrap. The deep greens of the leaf ties directly into the brand's sort of key colors, with the EGA's logo standing out clearly alongside of the vehicle. And here on the final page is a big thank you. Right, at this point, I wouldn't expect an immediate response from the client. Instead, I'd encourage them to take the time with the presentation, as there's quite a bit to digest. Feedback can sort of often take anywhere from a day to a couple of weeks. Essentially, what I have here is a design presentation that I can confidently talk a client through like it's a real project, but also the content ingredients needed to develop a new portfolio piece. Now, every case study you create is a step towards the kind of work and the kind of client you want to work with. So thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I will see you in the next one.